Well, hello again. We are back on this carburetor here. Might as well give you a little bit of know-how on the carburetor. I've removed the choke and all the linkage associated. All that stuff there, with the exception of this rod right here, goes back to the secondary pump right here. Everything else that was on there was only there to operate this choke plate, this thing right here. It goes back and forth. Everything, the choke, opened it up. The fast idle cam made it go, it was connected to this rod right here, and it made it go open. And so I went ahead and removed it all, because I think the problem I'm having with this carburetor is actually it's an issue. I keep saying problem. It's really an issue. We don't have any problems. It's an issue, and you can go ahead and still start the car. Not a problem. It's just, I'm going to go ahead and hold the throttle plate open with a pair of vice grips here so it's open a little bit to keep it running, and then eventually I'll just manually open it up all the way and then lock the plates on in position with this again and see if we get an idle that goes way down. I don't think that's going to happen, and I'll tell you why. I think the problem we're having is right here. This is your fast idle cam adjustment screw right here. This is your fast idle cam, okay? You got that little notch there. That's where it's supposed to go when you have your plate, when you have this plate set right. Fast idle, and the engine's cold, that fast idle cam is supposed to be set on that screw right there like that. Right where that cam, right where that notch is, okay? Now, listen to this now. I'm going to show you this. This is why I think this is the problem. It's not supposed to be doing that. And I think that's going to be the problem. So what I'm going to do is leave it in the downward position. Now let's go see what happens when we crank it up and see what kind of RPMs we get. Alright, what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go ahead and close that thing and then re-clamp the vice grips as if it had just started opening up. Now as time goes by, I'll open it up even more until it's finally vertical. Alright, she's idling at about 1100, which is okay because I'm doing this manually. Alright, I got it all the way open. Now let's see what happens now. Nothing. Let's go to the other side. Our idle is still real high. Alright, now I'm going to start working that adjustment screw thing there. See if it makes any difference. Yeah, see there? There's my problem. It's in here. And as you can see, Dr. Watson, we're at about 800. It's supposed to be about 750. No telling how accurate this meter is, but 800 is a long way from 11 or 12. So, you know what that means? It means I gotta take that stupid carburetor back off. You know, just about every time I get in and out of this car, I catch my arm on this real sharp point because there's no rubber stuff in there, and I've got to fix that thing. That is just a little knife. Just cut my arm again right here. It keeps cutting me open. All those bruise marks you see, and it took me this long to finally wake up. I'm going to do a little field expediency repair here. Alright, several thousand layers of masking tape. No more sharp edge. No more blood. Well, today is Independence Day. I've elected to just kind of stay home and work on a few things that need to be done around the yard. Hopefully the yard, we got a little bit of a rain today, so the yard's going to have to dry out a little bit more. I'm going to try to get out here with the mower and mow some of it down. It's time to pull the carburetor, and that's what we're going to do. I must have taken this thing off 10 times already. I'm so sick of it. Anyway, I got everything disconnected except the 4 bolts, the 4 nuts holding the carburetor to the intake manifold. So if I can get that baby on there. Now don't forget, our problem is this thing right here. It just doesn't want to cooperate. And the day after I discovered this, I got a comment from one of our subscribers named Michael, and he said, if your secondaries are being held open even a little bit, it'll cause the engine RPMs to go high, which we had already discovered, but he's exactly right. Here's our carburetor. This is our primaries. This is where the gas line goes in, so that's our primaries right there. And this is our secondaries. And these are the ones we were thinking would have a problem, but as you can see, when I move the pump, the secondaries open and close very nicely. There's no space there, nothing. Now let's look at our primaries. They're doing the same thing. They're working well, closing up real nice. Pump's working. But there is an issue I found. Well, the primaries and secondaries work right, but this is the problem I found. I don't know if it has an effect on it or not. Watch this shaft. Well, first watch this. Now I've got this shaft to where it won't move at all. This lever right here. And but if I go over here and move that rod that I showed you when we first discovered it, see how it moves? And this thing here is not moving at all. What the problem is this shaft right here is loose. It was riveted on, I guess pounded down at the factory when they put these things together. Now watch what happens. I don't know if that's the problem or not, because these things, I mean, these are the primaries. It shouldn't be that much of an RPM change. I guess it would be, but it would just, I don't know. I just don't know what to think about this. You know, this old hunk of junk carburetor, I put it together out of pieces and parts. Well, I let that JB Weld dry overnight, and it's nice and hard. I've got it clamped tight again, and we'll move this lever now and see if these things are going to move at all. Okay, don't move at all. That's good. That means this thing should be okay now. Does that solve the problem? I don't know. By the way, Mike at Mike's Carburetor Parts, he said to spray your gasket with silicone, and it'll help give you a seal when you put the carburetor back on. Which, you know, makes perfect sense to me. I'll do it. You know, I could have been a whole lot further ahead if it hadn't been on this car, if it hadn't been for this carburetor. Anyway, I got to do something for Nick Pepe out there in Vintage Thunderbird Repair. He didn't like this tag I left on this hose. Look at that. Okay, Nick, how's that grab you? It's gone. Well, everything's ready to go. I removed this spring that I had, you know, an extra spring I put on there. If it's working right, I shouldn't need it. Let's crank her up. Well, she's doing a lot better this time. It was right about here and it's climbed up to about there. I still have to adjust the fast idle, but normally it was way over here, remember? So it's come down quite a ways. After she warms up, we'll set the curb idle and see if I can get it down to 750. Alright, she's hovering around 800 RPM. That's not bad at all. I can adjust it from here. I'm real happy with that. Now let's go over there and push on that lever, see if it has any effect on the RPM. Alright, here goes. No effect at all. That must have been the problem. Because if this doesn't fix it once and for all, I'm out of ideas. Look at there, it's gone down now to exactly 750. Can't beat that. 750. That's 100% as far as I'm concerned. Alright, we're going to wrap it up here. Next time we're getting the car up on the lift. We're going to be putting at least start putting all this crap in. Should be able to do it, starting with the hood latch release and then getting the center valance put in. I've got everything I need to do it. Everything's been undercoated. I think we're good to go on that. So until next time, this is John. Check this out. Isn't that great? Perfect.